Hey Chelsea fans, welcome to CFC Unfiltered. I'm your host Anirudh, and CFC Unfiltered is a channel for Chelsea fans by Chelsea fan. And in CFC Unfiltered, I will give you my unbiased, unfiltered opinion, thoughts, reaction, analysis on all things Chelsea, be it transfers, be it rumors, stories emerging in and around the club, about the club, and my pre-match and post-match thoughts. So before further ado, let's get to it. Now, Chelsea fans, this is a brand new channel, so if you do love the content, if you do like it, please give it a shot. It's only a few days old, so please subscribe, comment, share. Subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Every little bit of that helps, and I'm sure if you do give it a shot, you will come to love the channel. So, before further ado, let's get started. So now I'm gonna go over this video. This is going to be a slightly longer video than I would normally do, but there are some transfer stories and important things that we would like to focus on, and ultimately I will go over what is the my pre-match thoughts and what exactly will be the lineup be. Also, I will talk about Enzo Maresca, Xavi Simons, centre back situation, and everything else that is going on. So let's just get started. So first of all, let's just go over this Chukwuemeka a bit. So basically, this has been going on for a while. We saw during the three deals that were happening that this was maybe the fourth deal, but it didn't happen because, of course, Dortmund have been doing this. They want high prices for their players when we go for them, but ultimately, good players, who would who they want from us, they ultimately try and lowball it. Now, Karnichukam, we know he's a good player. He had ultimately his whatever Chelsea prospects got shot in that West Ham game in Pochettino era where he scored. We thought, wow, this kid could be amazing, and then he got injured, and then it never really got back from that. He went to Dortmund from loan on January transfer window. He didn't set the world on fire, but he was good, and he liked it there. That's why he wants to go back. And I think, Dortmund are thinking that they're just gonna lowball it. They had about 19 million or something bid rejected with a loan option, with a loan obligation, and Chelsea found the offer insulting. Um, was what Chelsea won is close to 40 million euros, with clauses, with sell-on clauses, with incentivized clauses where they can get that sort of money, and Dortmund are just lowballing it, and I think Chelsea have made it clear, both to Dortmund and to the player, it's either permanent sell or it's nothing. So they have made this stance clear. So Karnichuk Maker right now, I would say he's not in a strong position, and his agent should also look at some of the other options because Napoli is apparently interested, West Ham is apparently interested. I'm sure there are a few other clubs that are interested. So he should probably look at that and see how his future develops because he can't keep on pining for Dortmund when they're not seriously making any bid for him. That's the point. So we will see how this bid develops, but this is classic, Dortmund Italian guts what they try to lowball everything. So let's just see how this situation develops. Uh, Now there was, we saw this big news emerging basically that Chelsea sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Stowe Stewart, along with Joe Shields and Sam Jewell, basically have signed contract extension for about 6 years. So that's hierarchy who build the team, the first team, the youth team, the women's team. These are the guys who build the team, and that's basically sorted. And we have seen some recruitment, good recruitment taking place. Of course, uh, we have had some mixed issues with that, but we have seen really some real good recruitment. We have seen this team develop, and Matt Law expanded on this, basically talking about how Chelsea's philosophy is not focusing on uh, you know uh, just experience for the sake of experience, which is what Chelsea gets criticized on. Or they're not buying experience. Their philosophy is that playing experience is far more important than just experience, and that is what Chelsea message is. So I see this thing, basically developing this philosophy, and we've seen this develop. We saw last two seasons both in Pochettino's era, where we finished sixth after original initial struggles, and then in the Enzo Maresca era, we went from strength to strength. We had a mid crisis at the start of the new year, but then we went through that and then basically come back stronger. Despite some people saying, "Oh, Enzo Maresca is this and that," what does he know? He's a championship manager, manager in Premier League. So, despite the fact that he was apparently a rookie manager, first season in Premier League, he finishes helps Chelsea finish fourth, higher than some of the better managers that someone else keeps talking about. He finished fourth. He did what was expected, won the Conference League against a good side, Real Betis, despite what people say. If you see Real Betis' results, they were good. They were a good side. And we won against them. And then we went on and did something further, is we went from strength to strength, and we won the Club World Cup and completely dismantled PSG. And I think this just adds to stress that Chelsea's philosophy and what we are trying to do is in the right path, in the right direction. Right. We have some criticism. I have some criticism on them, but we also have to give them where the credit is due, and I think this is the right philosophy. So I think I'm happy to see that. On that news, we also saw basically, uh, Cucurella getting an extension. So we heard that from the directors basically that this is happening. So we have seen Romano came out, when Hato signed that, they see Cucurella as a mentor and as a good player. He is a good, it's a good setup, and they're very happy with Cucurella. So they're going to get an extension, and almost I think 1 or 2 weeks later, we have seen this extension take place. It's done, and it just also, basically reduces some of the arguments of the naysayers who are saying that Chelsea are not going to keep it at their peak players. This clearly negates that argument that if you're good enough, if you're performing well, then you're going to get all that big money, and though you're going to get extension, because Cucurella with this extension, I think he goes into his 30s or near that. So I think it just negates that argument. And I told you that Chelsea, in their process, see there's two types of player. Either you're a stock, where if you perform at a decent level or not perform at a decent level, we're just going to give you opportunities and we'll just sell you. Or you will be a blue chip stock like Kurilla, like Cole Palmer, like Caicedo, like Levi Colwill. Unfortunate for him, but he's going to be one of those players who I believe Reece James, of course, Enzo Fernandez. All these players, are kind of untouchable, where they will be rewarded. You can see, I think, Caicedo, we saw Cole Palmer happen, the extension happen, we have seen Cucurella happen. I think we will see Cucurella, after Cucurella, Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez being rewarded as well, with contract extensions, with much better paying terms. So Chelsea are showing that to every other player in the squad. If you perform well, we are going to give you much better package than you currently have, but you have to perform well. Your actions will reward you basically what exactly you are. So I think this is a good philosophy, and I'm basically a fan of this, and a supporter of this. So yeah, just happy with this philosophy, this part. Um, Now moving on, you know, now this is Villarreal basically bid for Viega. It falls short of club's evaluation, which is around 40 million euros. We saw Atletico apparently bidding 35 million. It fell short, and Chelsea are not moved their basically valuation of him. The club, the defender, basically wanted to go. And recently, from Talksport, there was basically this because of Levi Colwill's injury, because of Maresca comments which were going to come under. Basically, Chelsea's hierarchy wants Viega to be integrated. Maresca is wants a different target altogether. So there's clearly something happened between Viega and Maresca, maybe because there's some burned bridges, and he's ready to just go anywhere. I mean, what did he do basically to do this, and why wasn't he patient enough? Because he can't expect to come to Chelsea and be straight away. Only players like Eden Hazard can expect that, not players like him who are playing at Basel of all places. Not saying it's a bad level, but it's not at that level, right? So to come to Chelsea and be starting lineup and be at preferred position, he should have been a bit patient, right? It's not like he has been there for a long time. He should have been a bit patient, and he would have got another opportunity. This would have been a perfect opportunity for him because he would have slotted in. But right now we have having this conversation, so we'll see how this develops. He may end up being reintegrated. Who knows? So, he may end up being sold. But this is an interesting thread. I think we'll do maybe a video when we analyze Maresca's comments and all that in maybe a little bit of detail. Um, Now, again, we have had talks about front of shirt sponsorship. We haven't had for 2 seasons. We had some guest appearances like from Infinite Athlete 2 seasons ago, and last season we had from DMAC last 6 games, which was about 1 million a game. So it was not bad. But Chelsea are like looking for someone close to 65 to 70 million a year. And it's been reported from different accounts, variation of fees, but it's higher than 69 million. And earlier it was around 60 million they wanted. Now, after the Club World Cup and Champions League qualification, they're like thinking we can get about 65 70 million. There are reportedly about 3 4 companies that they're engaging in advanced talks after having engaged with a number of companies. So hopefully this deal happens. Reportedly, one of them is Riyadh Air, and given that there is clearly a relationship between the Saudis and Clear Lake guys, this deal could happen. We will see how this goes. Uh, but yeah, I just want a sponsorship hopefully soon, both which is good for the club in short term, long term, on the pitch, off the pitch, financially and on the pitch results in terms of if we perform well. So yeah, hopefully we will see a right sponsor who is going to have this Club World Cup World Champions badge for most likely 80% of their tenure. If it's gonna be like 4 or 5 years sponsorship, so we will hopefully see that soon. And I want to talk to you about Josh Echempong, who's been subject to interest. We have seen with Bournemouth there was reportedly some interest from Man City, and apparently Newcastle are monitoring situation because they can't get enough of being rejected, so they just want to be rejected a few more times. Get a good feeling, good vibes. Man City, maybe we asked them about one of their players, and maybe in return they asked about theirs, and sometimes it's the way the conversation goes. So maybe that is what happened. We know that Bournemouth basically didn't have a loan inquiry; they wanted a permanent buy, and Chelsea basically a rebuff, and they were like, only a loan can happen, which I don't see it happening after Levi's injury. And I'm not sure why Bournemouth are, they've said we may desperate, maybe later in the window changes. It won't. It won't. Because Josh Jemprong, if you remember last season, was seen highly, and he was banished from the first team at one point, right? Until he signed a contract, right? And the whole point of him signing a contract was him being convinced that he's part of Chelsea. And I can tell you, Chelsea rate him highly, almost as highly they see him, as good as Levi Colwill, Reece James, these Coban products. They see him at that level, maybe higher. But yeah, so I think I'm not sure why Bournemouth are making this, because maybe some journalists like Mr. Delaney from Independent, who keeps on doing this, peddling this nonsense about Josh Brong and Chelsea. Maybe he got into their ear or something like that. I don't know, but it makes no sense why they're making permanent, trying to make a permanent buy when that's never going to happen. Never going to happen with Cheshire Brown, because he's seen that highly at that level. So yeah, that's not happening, and most likely he's going to be starting out today, which we're going to come to. So little bit of you know I think a little bit of Simmons update. So Simmons played yesterday, and he went on with his Instagram post, ring ring. Basically he's waiting for Chelsea. He was a man of match yesterday for Leipzig, and basically it's similar. It's linked to Nkunku's exit. Bayern are reportedly accelerating that after being told by Stuttgart that's not happening for Watermano, the striker, German striker. I can't get his name right, so apologies for that. But basically, being told Stuttgart know who they played yesterday, beat 2-0. Basically, they are now going after Nkunku, which helps with Simmons. And while Chelsea's, Sky is uh, journalists basically brief that if someone comes in, then only someone will go out. But I was in Alex Goldberg's stream, and he said someone with authority talk if that is the case, and he was told that that is not the case. It's just about getting your ducks in line. So I think from the looks of it, it seems that Chelsea just want, because it looks like Chelsea just want to, if they get, let's say, Xavi and Garnacho now, what's going to happen is going to drop Nkunku's valuation, Jackson's valuation, maybe Derek George's valuation, whatever they want for it. And they want to avoid that and get maximum valuation. I think that is part of it, not directly linked to that. I think we will get both of the players. Hopefully a center back too, given the situation, which we're going to get into it in a bit. But I think that is what it is. Um, and basically, Fabrizio Romano, basically what I told you in one of the earlier videos, basically this Man City talk was just a rumor, because he said despite these rumors, and Bayern apparently asked for him, but he has said no. I told you about Ali Barrett, who was in, I think, director's box in the Leverkusen game, that basically he's waiting for Chelsea, and that he's only wants Chelsea. So I think, and from what I looks of it, the personal terms are more or less done, and I think Leipzig and Chelsea also have an understanding what the payment will be. It's verbal agreement, so that no one else can know what agreement is. Is it? So I think it's better that, and I think we're just waiting for some access to happen, and just to get, so that we can get those valuations up. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this deal happens. Hopefully maybe in the next week or in the last week of transfer window, we will see how this develops. Um, Now moving on to the big discussion, which was Enzo Maresca basically came out. We saw him in one of the preseason games. He basically said, "We want a center back." Uh, Levi, and I told you that after that briefing came out of the club to Romano immediately after Colwill's injury update, that maybe they didn't have a discussion. They wanted to have a discussion. I think this discussion is just based on what he said, that we used Fofana, that didn't work out. We use Bereshi, you're losing the fan, and Colwill came on, we won 4-1. And, that specific role only Tosin can do, who's reportedly out of the Crystal Palace game right now. So he is highlighting that maybe we need something more. And I think what discussion has happened, and I highlighted that in the last video, that it's not Chelsea have not trying to look at the market at centre back, because they have asked they have asked Jared Brathwaite, who's now injured and Everton, and another centre back which he knows of. And reportedly there could be few more, because there are some rumors regarding Bayer Leverkusen centre back. There's one centre back from Benfica which we have been linked to since January transfer window. So we are most likely asking for centre backs, but he's most likely being told that, look, we're going to take a look, we're going to see it and see if something we can do, but we cannot guarantee it. And I think that is what the directors are briefing, because after he made these comments, the club came out basically with that they have confidence in squad, they have confidence in Maresca, and they think they have options in the center back position, and multiple players can play with it. This whole article came out of the Athletic from Liam Tierney. So this is what they're saying, and this is what Alex Kohlberg has also insisted on, that Chelsea, what they don't want to, because this article is that they don't want us to like a mistake with Disasi when the Fofana injury occurred. So they don't want to make the wrong signing, they want to make right signing which you know fits their long-term vision. I think that is what the briefing is about, and we will go this in discussion for this article in one of the upcoming videos, because I think this deserves a separate topic. But I think both sides have somewhat of a good point with their play, and I want to be getting into it maybe in a separate video itself, because I think Maresca is right that maybe we need something more, because we're in Champions League and Premier League, and club directors also have somewhat of a valid point as well. Now, let's get to my thoughts and lineup for Crystal Palace, the upcoming game. What I feel is, because yesterday Times article came out that Dawson is basically didn't complete his training on Saturday, and there is maybe a slight issue there, and it's just a precautionary measure, but he's not going to be part of the game. So my lineup with that regards was going to be Chalobah and Dawson, and I think now it's going to be HM Pong, because Berishli is unavailable until next month. I think Fofana has not played a preseason game. Reportedly he is now fit, but I don't think they're going to risk it. Hato can maybe play on the left, but we haven't seen that, so I don't think that he's going to be played in this. And Eselmino is the other option. I wonder what's going on with him, because that's why I want to make a separate video, because there are all these little things that are also in the background which we haven't discussed. And Eselmino, we have not really seen him since he's come from the January transfer window from Boca Juniors, right? He's we know he's talented. We know recruitment team know what they're doing. Clearly, they know how to spot good players. So I wonder what's going on with him, because we saw him like appear for a minute in Club World Cup. Then we saw him appear for about 15-20 minutes in one of the preseason games. But apart from that, we haven't really seen him. Right? So what's going on there? And I certainly don't see him coming in the first game of the season in this. So I think it's going to be Echepong, it's going to be Chalobah in the centre back, and Cucurella and James there, and Sanchez in goal. I put Santos instead of Enzo, mostly because Enzo is only had one of the preseason games, and he was only there for a few minutes, and Santos has maybe a better match fitness. So I think Santos maybe picked ahead of Enzo for this game. And also, apparently, we had a bid rejected from West Ham, who put in a 45 million bid, unverified, but apparently that happened. And Chelsea just said, "Stop it before you embarrass yourself," or something like that. That he's not going to, basically they kind of threatened him last time, basically, you know, he's not going anywhere. You should just stop now. And then, I see Pedro Neto instead of Estevao. I think there's going to be eased in rather than being put there. And Neto as an experienced operator, Parmo, no surprise. Gittins is going to be, I think, the obvious option there on the left. And I think Joe Pedro will start ahead of Liam Delap because of his form right now. I think that is going to be lineup. From Crystal Palace, I thought when the Liverpool rumors were going on that he may not start, but he's going to most likely start. As he may or may not start, because he's reportedly being lined up for the Dortmund move. So we will see how this develops. I think this will be my lineup. I think Crystal Palace are in a good kind of good form coming in. You can't discount that. We saw how they did with Community Shield. But Chelsea have a good record with Crystal Palace. They have a good record in Stamford Bridge, uh, and I think we will have to dominate, and I think we can overwhelm them with our attacking options, and I think we can be good. We can have a good, decent victory in this game. I hope for close to a 3-0 win or something like that. I don't like to do score predictions, but if I'm being asked, that would be my victory. But I will just take anything, 3 points. That's what I care about. And as long as it's a good starting performance and we're able to get and the intensity right, and hopefully, we get good sort of relationship building up between Pong and Chalaba, because that may be a relationship that we may have to rely on this season. So hopefully that starts, and of course no injuries, nothing like that, and yeah, get the 3 points because this is where the results matter. Not the preseason, but now is where the results matter. So I hope, but we are in a good form. We have been for quite a bit of while. And I think every one of our players, Palmer is back in form, João Pedro is in good form, Caicedo, Neto, Gittins, all in good form, Cucurella is in good form. So everyone is in a good individually and through team wise and in a brilliant form, and I think that can continue. So yeah, I expect a win. I expect 3 points, and let's hope and see that happens. Yeah, keep the blue flag flying high, and I will give you my post match thoughts after the game, and let's see what happens and some of the other things that we touched on in this video. If you do like the video, please give it a like, please give it a thumbs up. Every bit of it helps. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you know when more videos are coming up. It helps us provide encouragement. It helps us with the abyss, which is called YouTube algorithm, and especially a new channel which is only a few days old. I'm sure if you give it a shot, you will love the content which we have planned for you. So yeah, go Chelsea, and I hope, and I really hope for a win. So yeah, bye Chelsea fans, until the next video.